Your New York Knicks are the third seed in the Eastern Conference, baby, and we're going to be live talking about it today, coming off the craziest win of the season, just from the perspective of that win margin. I mean, we blew out the Raptors 145 to 101 last night. Tyler is back in action, joining Knicks Media. He's going to be sharing his thoughts right when the Mets season is beginning. Supposed to have the Mets today, but hey, the rain's like, nah, we're going to not have any Mets baseball today. Yeah. Tyler, always a pleasure to have you on. Welcome back to Knicks Media, man. I missed you.
Thank you. I missed you too. Long time no see. I'm going to be frank. Not being on here the past couple weeks has bothered me. I've been very hectic with my schedule as of late. But the New York Knickerbockers just won by 44 points last night. I don't care who's on the opposing roster. We need to appreciate this. We need to let this marinate and witness the greatness, which has been the New York Knicks all season long. No Randall, no OG, no problem. Now just imagine this team if they are able to get those reinforcements back when we need it most. Hopefully that is the case here. Mitchell Robinson back to the block this monster, getting involved a little bit. He returned before the season's end. You love to see that. Everyone watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for your boy. Help Knicks Media get to the next short-term goal of 15K subscribers. On Twitter, same applies. Hit that like button. Hit that follow button, not only for myself at Wardy NYM, for my baseball fans that know me as well, that I cover the Mets, but also for my Knicks fans at Knicks Media on Twitter as well, which I'm sure you have live right now. So let me make sure the retweet is in order. Let me get this all set up for you.
The Mets fans are coming through via Wardy NYM's X account / Twitter account, whatever you call it these days. But Wardy couldn't have hyped this up even more. Do you know who I got to highlight? Who I put the face of the thumbnail for a reason? Who has just been a joy to watch this player break out into the guy that he is. The deuce is loose.
The deuce is loose.
McBride. This guy is better than your favorite player. Who's your favorite player? Deuce is better. Like this guy, I'm sick of this. You know what? This is our time, Knicks Nation. He's better than Luka. I don't care about his 34 points per game on the season. Knicks fans, it's time to puff our chests and sit on the throne because the New York Knicks are here and this Knicks team is loaded. We are deep. We've suffered for so long, and I'm done with feeling like, all right, relax. Let's just be humble. Let's just no, I remember the suffering we went through. I may be a little over the top today, but I can't help it. I watched this Knicks team last night, Tyler, just completely obliterate. Now, listen, I don't want to take a Pistons win and a Raptors win and think that we're going all the way to the finals. I want to ground myself. True. But I'm trying to ground myself here. But I'm just someone that I'm never going to take for granted those because I'm not forgetting where this Knicks team was. We were the Raptors. We were the Pistons not too long ago where we sucked and we would get blown out. I mean, we had an image that I wish I could pull up right now. I probably can, of David Fizdale down 100-62 with a big smile on his face. That was the old Knicks culture. Like, Knicks fans, I just don't want you to forget where we came from so you don't take this for granted, baby. Don't take it for granted.
You said it beautifully. And, I'll be frank, too. I'm a younger Knicks fan, right? You've been a lot more locked in for a longer period of time than I have. But just when I think about my early goings of Nick fandom, I mean, the fact that I still have, Alonzo Trier on my mind, like expecting him to impact this team. I mean, that's exactly like where I'm at. Just so many nobodies that we saw year after year after year. Tom Thibodeau comes in. We finally have a structure in place. And hey, Tibbs decided to sit the guys with 40+ points.
Oh my gosh.
Finally. Literally, when JB came out, my girlfriend was like, oh, is he going to come back in the game? I'm like, knowing Tibbs, probably, but he shouldn't. I really hope he doesn't. And he didn't. I got to give a lot of credit where credit's due. Again, I'm really happy that Tibbs, finally, it only took a 40+ point lead, but finally was like, let's give the guys a couple seconds break. They deserve it, right? Especially guys like Josh Hart, especially. But, man, between Deuce going off the way he did last night, I'm so happy to have the blockness monster back. 8 points in 12 minutes we saw. Bojan Bogdanovic being useful, right? 18 points in 16. We take that. I mean, those Pistons have been schmucks the entire time since we've acquired them for the most part. So it's nice to see some production there. That's all we want. If everyone's locked and loaded, guns a-blazing, there is no team in NBA that is deeper than the New York Knickerbockers. Like, it is. I'm sorry, there isn't. They have all the talent. They have the depth. Now it's just about making sure you got your guys healthy when you needed to. Isaiah Hartenstein with another good game. Dante did what he had to do. But Jalen Brunson, Deuce McBride, I am loving Deuce continue to take advantage of the opportunities given to him. I mean, this is a guy that both Richie, you and I, we've talked about the past 2+ years now that give him a leash. We know he's going to put the clamps down defensively. That isn't an issue with Deuce. Offensively, you know it's sporadic. You know it's a little Jekyll and Hyde in those limited playing times. But let's just look at the stretch of Deuce McBride, right? He's averaging just under eight points this season in just under 18 games, right? We look at the Magic game, 14 points in 19 games. We look at the Sixers game. He had no points. Doesn't matter. Didn't happen. 13 points in 23 games against the Sixers. That's what matters. Trailblazers, 6-22. That's fine. He didn't have to be the leader there. Canes, we're not going to talk about that. Warriors gets the start, 29 points in 47 minutes, juicing me up. The Nuggets are really good. That game doesn't matter. The Nets, 26-48. We got 13-43, and then 29-40 for a guy that many didn't think would have much of an impact, if at all, on the Knicks heading into this season. IQ out. RJ out. Condolences, RJ. We love you, brother. We're so happy to see you smiling on the bench, too. Would like to emphasize that. And we're wishing him and his family the best in a very difficult time. We know that. They're gone. Deuce steps up. Dude, if he continues playing like this, and let's not forget the contract, Richie. What's the contract? Let me hear it. Let me hear the contract for Deuce McBride.
3 years,
right
$12 million. I can't even process. Like, you got to keep going. This is ridiculous.
What?
Don't stop.
Deuce McBride. Evan Fournier should just transfer his entire salary he's had with the Knicks and give it to Deuce for the past week of games, because Deuce has provided just as much production as Fournier did throughout his entire effing tenure here. Okay, give this man a bag. He deserves it. He's been balling out. We love it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, how many threes? How many threes last? 9?
6 in the first quarter. I thought he was going after Dante's record. I'm like, bro, Dante just broke the Knicks franchise record in the game, and Deuce hold my beer.
Doing it back to back, night in, night out. There's new records being broken. Josh Hart's like, fuck, I'll just get another triple-double. I got nothing else to do. Dante's like, let me just drain these threes, doing my best Splash Bro impression. And then we get Deuce out here, who, again, we know has the defense, which is awesome, especially for a guy that isn't overly big as a guard. His defense is immaculate, we've seen at times. And now you add in the offensive game. I'm not trying to be rude, but Quentin Grimes, who? This is the kind of stuff that gets you pumped up if you're a Knicks fan, to get this type of production from,
I had to say it,
on the depth chart, a lesser player, right? He's becoming a bigger focal point. He's going to be the next IQ for this team in regards to role. We're seeing it before our eyes. Sign me up. Deuce McBride, eating that hype up for breakfast, lunch, and especially dinner.
Deuce McBride is everything we were hoping Quentin Grimes and Emmanuel Quickley could be combined. Okay, I don't want to get ahead of myself here.
Ooh, that's a good one. I see that for sure, yeah.
Deuce McBride playing next to, ever since he got an opportunity, not only because we've seen Deuce get the opportunity to start in replacement of Jalen Brunson when he was hurt, but when Tibbs went to Deuce when OG got re-injured, and they were going up against the Warriors, and we all thought, okay, well, what was the starting five without OG? It was Precious was out there. But Thibodeau made the decision. We're going to go small. We're going to match up Deuce with Steph Curry, and we're going to start Deuce alongside of Jalen Brunson. And then he goes out there, have his career night against the Golden State Warriors, and they never looked back. And now Deuce McBride is the New York Knicks' secret weapon, which is no longer secret anymore. The NBA world's knowing about it. JJ Redick had a whole feature on his podcast breaking down Deuce McBride. Get used to it, because this is our secret weapon. Deuce McBride is locking people down on the perimeter. His three-point jump shot is beautiful. I always saw this. I always wondered about Deuce. This guy, as a rookie, would go down to Westchester and drop a 30-point triple-double. And everything you're seeing him do right now, he was doing at Westchester. And I'm like, this guy has it. I would always tell people that. And I don't know if you remember, Wardy, but we got into some debates. I don't know about me and you, but I got into some debates with Knicks fans before the trade deadline. Malcolm Brogdon, all these guys. And I'm like, guys, Deuce McBride. I want to make trades. We made the OG trade, but everyone, before the Alec Burks and the Bojan Bogdanovic trade, I'm like, guys, don't sleep on Deuce. We have a backup point guard. And I keep stressing that. And this is what I saw in him. He's been finally given the opportunity not only to play, when we were talking about that, he was coming off the bench playing 15, 20 minutes, but now you give him a 48-minute a night type of situation, which is ridiculous. He's becoming an actual big-time piece to this Knicks team. I saw this in him, and I'm happy that the Knicks gave him the opportunity, and he's absolutely taking it and running with it, because now this Knicks team is even more loaded with what Deuce is doing.
Would you say that Deuce should stay ahead of Alec Burks? What
kind of question is that?
I don't know. Maybe I'm doing my best CP impression where I'm trying to get benefit of the doubt to the Brickness monster himself.
Oh, poor Alec Burks.
Shout out to CP. We know he's the biggest Alec Burks lover out there.
Shout out to CP. Hey, I mean, I was right there with CP. I was the one on my channel as well.
I know. We
got to trade for Burks.
But what did I tell you? What did I tell you right away? I'm like, he's going to come in and Tibbs is going to utilize him the way we don't want him utilized. And he's going to absolutely not be the way we're hoping. Unfortunately, this has been to a higher magnitude. Even
we just got to give Burks time. Okay.
Even
this
even
is
in limited sample sizes. It's like,
no, I will say this.
Wait, Richie, before you tell me what grinds your gears, you know the meme of the guy that's shooting those deep threes where he's literally hitting everywhere but the net, like he's hitting the top of the damn thing, like everything. That's exactly what I'm thinking of Alec every time he's out there right now. Holy shit. Even Shake. Give me Shake, damn it. I want some of that
Shake
milkshake
Milton
right now,
was
baby.
shaking last night. My biggest thing with Burks is his shot selection drives me nuts. Like, I cannot stand his. Now, he can hit those difficult shots, but when he doesn't, it just boils my blood. But I will give Burke some credit here because we still got the playoffs and he's providing depth, and we are hopefully going on a long playoff run, and we're going to need all hands on deck. Even the situational guys that's most likely not going to be in the rotation like Alec Burks. And when we're fully loaded, by the way, there's going to be guys like Precious Achiuwa. How is he going to fit into the rotation?
Right. That's a huge question. Precious, can we take a moment to appreciate the Precious greatness against the former team? I
took someone's life
I don't
last
give
night.
A damn slam. Like
someone's life.
Like
He's got a family.
Multiple slams throughout the game. Precious was a man on a mission. He was like, "You guys, you thought I was a throw-in? A throw-in? Yeah, you got another thing coming." This guy's so good. This guy's so good for the Knicks right now when he's on the outside looking in of even being like available when we're fully healthy, which is an absurd thing to say when you look at what Precious's production has been nothing short of Precious during his time as a New York Knickerbocker. As a Knick right now, averaging just under 9 points in 26 minutes, we see that. Yes, of course, you're getting right around 8 rebounds a game with him. This was, of course, his biggest game that we've seen in a minute now, probably since, I don't want to say the Magic game because, we had 13 and 24 against the Sixers. I'll probably go with that one. But, dude, awesome game for Precious Achiuwa. Again, a New York native as well, which is so sick. But you're right. The Knicks, they have too many good guys. We got a problem. We got a good problem on our hands.
When we're fully loaded, there's going to be no room for all these guys. Like, this team
makes it so good, though, because God forbid, again, God forbid, if the Knicks deal with ailments, which they likely will in postseason play, right? If that happens, depending on where it's happening, like, say, especially in the case of, like, not that I wish it, but like, let's say that Randall unfortunately doesn't come back the way that we're hoping, right? You're still going to need to make sure that you have proper protection there. And that's what you got Precious for. Like, it's absolutely massive. He's such a difference maker. Without him, I don't know where this Knicks team would be on a night-to-night basis because he has been a massive role player for this team. And without him, we're definitely missing some games. We're definitely more in the loss column than one column since he's arrived here to a degree. So
Precious Achiuwa, it took him a little bit to find himself. It was right when Julius went down. He got plugged in at the starter at the 4 spot, and he just never looked back, bro. I mean, he is an absolute workhorse. And then you also got to give a shout out to Josh Hart, who is now the starting 4 for the Knicks. I mean, this Knicks team is playing small ball. The guy's out rebounding players at 6'4".
Right.
I mean, we have literally a big man playing the 4 spot, and Josh Hart, he's not a big man. He's playing like one.
Best rebounding guard in the league, baby.
Do you know what's crazy about Josh Hart that came to me last night in my post-game recap? I'm like, yeah. We're all happy about his rebounds, which we should be because that's what he's known for. But there's another element to his game that's like mind-blowing that no one's talking about.
Enlighten me.
He leads the Knicks every night in assists. Like, every night he has the most assists. He's becoming the playmaker. He's becoming the floor general.
Dude, Chris Paul who? Like, what? What are we even talking about?
It's ridiculous. He had 10 dimes last night. Jalen Brunson had 7. Deuce had 7. That's crazy, number one. I mean, last night was an anomaly. We had 145 points, almost broke a lot of records. But, like, Josh Hart is becoming a playmaker, not only as a rebounder and a hustler, but his ability to, like, make plays for his teammates, make the open pass, push the ball in transition, and the guys are hitting the shots. Like, That is awesome. The triple-double thing is ridiculous. He's never done a triple-double in his life, and he has like 7 this year. I mean, he is a big piece of this Knicks team. He's the heart and soul, no pun intended. Like, I feel like he is becoming a household name for this Knicks team, and I feel like the NBA world is starting to appreciate Josh Hart even more.
He is the pure definition of a true role player, where it's like, okay, I realize JB's out tonight. I got to step up a little bit more. Okay. JB's in. I'm going to do everything I can to rebound like crazy, assist, guard the best I can, and of course, drop, maybe 10 to 15. No, that's perfectly fine. We're not asking Josh Hart to rain down with threes left and right. We got Dante. We got other pieces for that. We just want Josh Hart to continue to play his game. Because when you look at the contending teams out there in the NBA right now, how many of them have a Josh Hart quality player? Very few. That especially that can do what Josh Hart does, with the workload he does on a night-to-night basis. We even heard it himself, actually, in one of his more recent roommates podcasts with Jalen Brunson. They do such a good job. Literally, such an awesome show for us Knicks fans to get more of an inside look on these players and their personalities.
Today, actually, just dropped.
Yeah, well, Hartenstein. Yep. Make sure you guys check it out, too, after watching this one, for sure. But what stood out so much to me is that he said, I don't go, too hard in practice. Like, he purposely dials it back in practice because he's like, between how Tibbs utilizes me, I'm burnt. Like, I can't do both. So he lays it back in practice, just does some casual little warm-ups, get himself going.
Slides.
And then he's ready to play 50 minutes if you need him to. You know what I mean? Like, Josh Hart has been such a revelation. For the people out there that are saying it was a bum signing, a bad signing, shut up. It's okay to be a casual. I understand it. We've all been there. But, like, can you not realize and fathom the fact that this man has single-handedly helped significantly win ball games for the Knicks? And on top of it all, that chemistry is what's carrying this team, you could rightfully argue, more than anything. I mean, not just the dynamic between Dante, Ihart, and JB as the Nova boys, but beyond that, just the relationships. You can tell the vibes are just so effing immaculate right now with this team. Everyone knows their role. There isn't we aren't in a situation where we had, again, with RJ Barrett, unfortunately, where there was a butting of heads between himself and Randall at times, kind of like who's going to lead the way, aside from JB. Like, there was something missing. There was a lack of true identity, right? Then you bring in OG Anunoby. Then you bring in, of course, the depth pieces that you did in Boyan and Burks. I'm not going to qualify them much because they haven't went as smoothly, nearly as much as we would have hoped to this point. But still, the core group of this Knicks team is on a chemistry level where I only see a few teams out there in the NBA where I think can go toe-to-toe with the Knicks when they're healthy, at their best, and can provide just awesome basketball end-to-end. Knicks are in a very special spot right now. And again, now as a third seed, what matters most is just getting healthy. OG Anunoby, that elbow looks absolutely cooked right now. What's the status there? Randall as well. When can we exactly expect him back? So pivoting back to you for a second, RJ, not RJ, Richie. What do you have to say about the latest statuses of OG and Randall? And what is your optimism or pessimism with them being ready to go for when the Knicks need them most?
Yeah, I think the Knicks are doing it. They're doing it smart right now, right? We have to be safe. We have to make sure that the precautionary route is what you got to do. And the thing that I got to remind Knicks fans is we're winning without them right now. So there's no reason. Like, I'm not really stressed about, the next game is OG available. Like, to be honest with you guys, like, that's the last thing I'm thinking about. Like, I'm not worried about if OG is going to be ready against the Spurs tomorrow. Like, let him rest. Like, we don't need him. This is an injury that got surgically repaired, talking about OG, and it needs time to heal. He came back. He played through it. He was impacting the Knicks, by the way. We didn't lose.
He was impacting games, but he was, like, screaming
in
every
pain.
Shot. Like, so clearly not okay.
It's going to be a pain tolerance, and if he's going to have to play through pain, you want him to play through pain when it matters the most. And right now, these games don't matter a lot, okay? I get it. We want to get the third seed. We have it now. We want to protect that now. We want to look ahead to the second seed, all important stuff. But what the big money is going to happen is in the NBA playoffs. So when it comes to OG, if I'm the Knicks, I hold him out to the playoffs, or maybe like 2 games left in the regular season to get his see if that elbow's working out. Be as cautious with him as possible. With Julius Randle is a completely different conversation because his is interesting because that's another pain tolerance, but also like he's able to do all the drills individually. But the thing with Randle is people need to realize is he hasn't been cleared for live contact because that right shoulder is extremely vulnerable. And what they're scared of is a re-injury because what they're balancing with Julius Randle is it worth it to risk this short-term all-in-win season for a potential long-term injury that can affect my career? Because Randle wants to play a long time. I mean, he's at the upper end of the 2020s. I think he's like 28, 29 years old, and he's going into the 30s. So Randle wants to play, I'm sure, well into his 30s. And this type of injury, if it gets re-aggravated without surgery, that can affect the long term of his career. So that's why they're being smart, and they do not want to rush him out there. And they want to make sure that Julius is not overthinking it when he's on the court, that he's not changing his game to protect his shoulder. So that's really the issue with Julius. I think that with both Julius and OG, if I'm the Knicks, shut them both down until the playoffs start or a game or two before it, because we're winning without them.
Yeah, no, you said it. And it's one of those things where naturally I've been preaching for a while. I want Randall back with at least some games left. But at the end of the day, if that is going to potentially make things worse for him in the postseason, then I want the Knicks to do, again, whatever they think is truly best here. Do I think they rushed OG back? Yes, clearly they did, right? I mean, it was so obvious right away. Like there wasn't even for more. It took 5 minutes for OG Anunoby to be on the court to make his first shot to realize, okay, he probably shouldn't be on the court, right? So they need to make sure they avoid a situation like that again. And in case of Randall, yeah, just need to make sure he's healthy. Like, of course, you worry about rust, you worry about rhythm, all these types of things if he doesn't return until we get to postseason play. But to your point, you're potentially risking losing him entirely then, and no one wants that to happen. So both these guys we know likely are going to need more work done this offseason, or at least just more rest once they're done playing, and they're not going to get that in the meantime. So hopefully between the adrenaline, between the proper workouts and regimens that they're doing, we can get them right and just fresh enough to help the Knicks get to where they want to be. That's a championship. It's a tall task. We know that, but this team is deep enough where even if they don't have Randall and OG at 100%, I think if you have both those guys in an 80% range, that still might be enough to get you where you want to be, at least hopefully back to where we were against the Miami Heat last year, if not farther. So,
yeah, I agree. And the cool thing about this, about Julius and OG, is let's not forget we got Mitch back. So that was another big thing. 50 games he missed. He comes back and looks completely the same. I mean, he played 12 minutes and impacted the game. So I honestly think it's a cheat code.
Love to see that.
The NBA's got to ban the Knicks. Like they should not allow us to have Mitchell Robinson come off the bench. That should be illegal.
It's honestly not fair. And it credits again the guy we talked about on the roommate show today, Isaiah Hartenstein, like how effing good he has been filling in for the Block This Monster. He single-handedly has gotten himself so much more millions for the open market, one. And two, he's now established himself as, again, an everyday big man that a lot of teams in the NBA would love. And now the Knicks have two of the better big men in all of the NBA on the same team.
It's weird because we're low-key.
It feels good.
And there's a part of me that's like, damn, we got to win right now because I don't know how much we're not going to be able to have them next year potentially, but that's a whole other conversation.
That's what sucks so much. He's probably going to get a bag elsewhere.
Fugazi with a $5.
But
nah, it's true. It's a team-friendly deal. Hartenstein's a Knick forever. I'll manifest that. Fugazi with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. Always appreciate you. If Knicks keep the 3rd seed or make it to the 2nd seed, they will definitely make the Eastern Conference Finals, and anything can happen. All right. Fugazi's got the Knicks as the 3rd or 2nd seed. If that happens, they are going to the ECF. In that hypothetical scenario, we would have to get through, say, the Pacers in round 1, or it could be the Sixers, it could be the Miami Heat. We'll see. And then round 2, hypothetically, the Bucks, and then the Celtics, and then the Nuggets, and then your Knicks are NBA champions. Your thoughts, Tyler?
Can you repeat the first half of what you just said?
So say the Knicks are the 2nd or 3rd seed. I'm just making a hypothetical. We match up against the Pacers in round 1, or the Sixers, or the Heat. We beat their asses, hopefully. And then in round 2, I think a likely scenario is matching up against the Bucks, or probably the Bucks is who would have to verse, or the Cavs. I mean, it depends on who advances. And then the Celtics will probably be waiting for us in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Are you okay? So if the Knicks keep the 3rd seed or make it the 2nd seed, they will definitely make the Eastern Conference Final. Okay, so are you asking me if I agree that that's how things are going to play out? I hope so.
Like,
I'll tell you that much. I'll say this. When it comes to especially that first round. My confidence level against Miami is definitely to a higher degree than what it was a year ago. That's for sure. So I don't think that's one of those things where it's like, oh my God, we got to avoid Miami at all costs. Kind of like what you feel like in recent years with this team, because Spo is just so effing good at what he does. But yeah, I think that's very much a reality. Round one for sure. Now, round two is interesting because my question to you, Richie, between the Bucks and the Cavs, who would you want and why? Because I have a pretty clear-cut answer, but I want to know what yours is.
Cavs.
Yeah, like I don't even think you second guess it. Like obviously for the Cavs, their thought process is we got embarrassed by this team last year, so we want to make sure that we right that wrong. So they're going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder for sure. But can they handle the spotlight again? Because we've continued to see, at least as we went toe-to-toe with this Cavs team, there's nothing about them that leads me to believe as a Knicks fan that the Knicks can't handle what's coming to them. You know, even when they're locked and loaded at their best, when Mitch is doing his thing, I'm still loving the Knicks' chances in their matchup. Am I wrong for saying that?
No.
That's the crazy thing. If I feel like I should be wrong.
No, you're not.
We're not used to this. We're not used to talking about like a team dominating for like the majority of the year and being like,
nah, it's beyond our
like,
comprehension.
We're the favorites in certain situations. What do you mean? Like,
bro, I'd never seen a spread in that much favor of the Knicks in my life. 13.5-point spread last night. We covered it against the Pistons. 16.5-point spread. We covered it. That's just beyond my comprehension. I do want to give a shout out BetUS, the official sportsbook sponsor of Knicks Media, because they got a lot of interesting prop bets in terms of NBA futures that I wanted to break down right now. Folks, if you want to sign up for BetUS, definitely go click that link down below in the description right now, and you will receive a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,500 with a 10% gambler's insurance. Please bet responsibly. Also, baseball is back, okay? So if you guys want to make some baseball bets, that is here as well. BetUS has a lot of fun stuff that you can bet on outside of just basketball. They just came out with the football win totals as well. But right here, we can bet on who's going to win the championship. Is it the East or the West? It's pretty even odds. Interesting that you can pick which division is going to win the championship. The Atlantic Division is at plus 175, so one of the Knicks or the Celtics. The Knicks, baby. I thought this was interesting. NBA championship winner in the state, New York, is at plus 2,500. So I am going to put my life on the Knicks to win the championship. New York winning at plus 2,500. I'm going to risk it all for the biscuit, baby. $100. $100 wins you $2,500, folks. If the Knicks win the finals, you heard it here first. I'm not going to lie. I already do have money on the Knicks to win the finals when the odds were at like plus 3,600. The odds were like plus 3,600 like months ago. And I'm like, these odds are going to drop because my New York Knicks are killing it right now. Let's go. And I put money on it. And now the odds are dropped to plus 2,500. So I like these odds. We shall see. I am definitely drinking the Knicks Kool-Aid, and I'm definitely getting ahead of myself. But guys, if you want to make some bets, don't forget, click that link down below. Open up your BetUS account today. Let's hear a quick word from BetUS.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
BetUS, where the game begins. Let's go Knicks, baby. We got the Knicks taking on the San Antonio Spurs tomorrow night. What's up, Victor Wembanyama? We're coming for you next in San Antonio. Okay, that's up next. And then the big game is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Are we home in that game? I think we are, yes. The Knicks are home on Easter Sunday night, prime time. That's going to be a good game. That's where all things are going to happen.
Now you got to deal with Chet. It ain't going to be easy. You know, we got to do SGA. A lot of awesome young talents out there, but I love my New York Knicks, and I love them in basically any matchup that we have seen, even without Randall, even without OG. They have continued to give me reasons to believe in, hey, they do lose if they do lose to the Thunder, I won't be overly shocked. You know, you could say, okay, you know, it happens, but hopefully they can pull out the next 2, baby. Let's keep it rolling.
Let's keep it rolling. Indeed, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel here at Knicks Media. We'll be live for the game day previews for both games and making post-game recaps. And Tyler will be here once a week as his usual self, if we can figure out a way to find time since the baseball season's officially here. Mets fans and overall baseball fans, even Yankees fans, go check out what Wardy's doing. He is doing a tremendous job, and baseball season's here, and the basketball season's coming to an end. At the same time, it feels like they're about to start, right? Basketball season is about to start. So, folks, we're going to wrap up the show here. Hit that like button on your way out. Let's go, Knicks. We're the 3rd seed. Knicks fans, get hyped up. Sorry.
Let's go, baby. I
apologize. That's how I feel. Knicks fans, we love you. Go New York, go New York, go! Peace out.